Welcome back. We're going to dive into the healing roadmap today. Last time we talked about the healing terrain. Today we're going to talk about how we navigate that terrain to direct our healing. So roadmaps are suggestions. They're not prescriptions. You can create any route you want, or you can move completely off-road. The roadmap I'm about to share with you today is based on the science of healing and human potential. It's what lets us unleash that gorgeous potential of epigenetics, neuroplasticity, core functional medicine systems biology, and transformational psychology, all the dynamic aspects of our healing terrain that we've explored throughout this series. This roadmap is based on what works for solving our pain, suffering, and illness. But I'm not about to tell you what to do, because you now and always are the expert on you. And with what you know and how you learn to decipher your body's unique language of sensations and feelings and intuition, you will choose where to go. So once you've chosen your roadmap, and by continuing to be your witness and listening to yourself reverently, you'll see how your body leads you as it responds in its nuanced ways to your interventions. Your body will let you know it works or it doesn't work, or there's more to do. Which doesn't mean we don't ask for advice, right? We go to the experts. We ask for advice and guidance. And my own team, Karen, is a very large team of wise and skilled practitioners whom I've come to trust over the years. But in the end, I make the decisions about what to do. So last time, we explored the healing terrain, okay? We saw the dynamic relationship between our genes, the environment, lifestyle, life events, and mindset that comprise our terrain. We saw how these elements of who we are, our operating system, lead to how we function and experience life. And the biology in this relationship is what we decode when we tend to our body's wisdom language about what it needs. Our healing roadmap is how we navigate and direct this terrain of our healing and potential of us. So let's talk about the healing roadmap. How do we make our healing terrain work for us to relieve our pain, suffering, and illness, to live our most vibrant and joyful lives? In my more than 30 years working intensively one-on-one with clients, and deeply studying and applying the science of human wellness and potential, I've come to understand how the healing roadmap is comprised of two overarching themes of what humans need to do, to address, to live in order to become well and to heal. Okay? So, to heal, we need, and these are the two overarching themes of our healing roadmap. First, we need to create or restore core resilience. Core resilience. Two, some of us need to resolve complex roadblocks to healing. Okay, that's it. Just two things. So, as we'll explore later, the complex roadblocks to healing can be further subdivided into internal barriers to healing, such as unmet needs for nutrients, sleep, movement, love, safety, presence, hopeful mindset, etc., and external barriers to healing, which can be toxins, irritants, immunological activators, negative energy, and so forth. Today we're going to explore what are by far the most essential, high-yield, non-negotiable aspects of healing. They belong to the theme of core resilience and the daily practices and habits that create that resilience. By supporting core resilience, we can prevent and resolve most pain and suffering and illness that we bring to the table. Now, our two themes of the healing roadmap, core resilience and complex roads to healing, are interconnected, okay? But most of the time, the complex roadblocks to healing preceded or are precipitated by or even mediated by problems that relate to core resilience factors. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So the vast majority of the time, creating core resilience is the solution to all of our pain, suffering, and illness. And when it's dialed in really well for our unique needs, it takes us far beyond the absence of illness to vibrant energy and well-being, what most of us are seeking in this healing life. Most of us don't need rocket science-y, elaborate fixes to esoteric or complicated problems. Our problems may feel esoteric and complicated, and they may be highly distressing and destabilizing, but the solutions involve straightforward, everyday, ordinary self-care practices that anyone can learn to do, and that most of us know how to do, but we don't for all kinds of reasons. Or we just don't know how to put all the pieces of our roadmap together. We need help. It's too overwhelming and befuddling. We can look at this whole question another way as well. Loss of core resilience is the root cause of most of our problems. And that's the secret that's really not a secret at all. Most of what people go to their doctors for doesn't really need the doctor. In fact, much of what conventional crisis care-oriented medicine has to offer for most of our problems doesn't address the root cause. It doesn't offer sustainable solutions, and it often makes them worse. So let's talk about resilience. What is resilience? Okay. What is resilience? It sounds amazing. Core resilience. I want all of that, man. I want that. So, core resilience. Resilience is strength plus energy plus adaptability. So core resilience is the strength plus energy plus adaptability to address all of our life challenges, okay? And that includes everything from those big calls to action to the daily chores, okay? It all requires resilience. So strength so we're able in our bodies and we can stand up literally to our challenges and not just blow around in the breeze, living life passively or unconsciously or in a constant state of overwhelm. So strength includes our physical strength as well as our core internal strength of personal empowerment. Energy, so that we can fuel absolutely everything that is needed from us, from basic physiological function that goes on continuously within us to fueling our excitement and passion and curiosity to sustaining us through our biggest life challenges. The energy we need for growing and healing. So energy is foundational to everything. Without it, nothing works. Adaptability, so we can stay flexible. We can shift gears when we're called to, take risks, tolerate uncertainty and disappointment, and grow because of our challenges. This is how we're built. So, as you can see, core resilience is the ultimate multidimensional body, mind, spirit attribute of humans that leads to core health and vitality. So how do we create resilience? How do we create the strength, energy, and adaptability that we need to succeed at all of life's challenges? What do we need to optimize that gene, environment, lifestyle, life events, mindset, dynamic relationship of the healing terrain to achieve core resilience? We've actually already started. We began our work on core resilience when we practiced presence and the 3 foundational personal skills that activate the healing potential within us: self-awareness, self-compassion, and self-agency. So resilience and vibrant health is to become our witnesses. We must become our witnesses to achieve this, okay? It allows us to receive the healing language of the body so that we can decode it, to free ourselves from the constraints of trauma biology and create containers of love and safety for ourselves to learn and grow in. And we need it to own our personal power so that we can personally direct our healing. For all this, we must be present. This is the absolute foundation to core resilience. It allows us to work on all the other aspects of core resilience. So I see core resilience as consisting of 8 domains. The first one we just talked about, presence. Okay. The domains are about answering the question, what do we need to stay healthy and return to robust health? These domains organize the daily life practices that direct our healing terrain, okay, that make us us. So we're going to just look at we're going to gaze upon the big picture today, right, the bird's eye view. We'll get the lay of the land, and we'll be diving more deeply into each one of these in upcoming sessions. So those core skills of presence, okay, self-awareness, self-compassion and safety, and self-agency are attributes of our minds that are essential to support our efforts at all the other core resilience domains if we want to create sustainable healing and vital wellness. We have to become our witnesses. So that's number 1. 2, letting go. What do I mean by letting go? So letting go has to do with what we have to let go of by creating strong personal protective boundaries for defense against those things that hurt us, like environmental toxins, irritants, negative energy, all the things that disempower us. We have to let those go, okay? The third domain is love, and I'm going to add connection to that. Love and connection. Okay? Gotta have it. We have to learn to receive and give love and create meaningful, nourishing connections with others. This is a primal need of humans. Okay? One of the primary needs of humans. Key to this is learning to love ourselves and minding our needs with self-compassion, and not dismissing ourselves and our needs in favor of others. Sound familiar? Yeah. Balance. So balance has to do with building a strong center of being and a positive mindset about life stress and challenge so that we can establish a robust equilibrium of stress, resilience, and equanimity as we roll through the changes and challenges of life. Okay? 5, restore. Sleep is the boss. It's our boss. We have to receive the healing and restoration of deep, restful sleep, as well as moments of rest and pause and playfulness throughout our day for restoration. move. So, pretty self-evident. Movement supports all aspects of us. We must move with strength, balance, and supportive postures to fulfill our legacy as a species designed to use our bodies vigorously, while modern life challenges us by making us strangers to optimal movement. We don't have to move as much, but this has become a tremendous challenge for many of us. 7, nourish. So that's all about food. We need to eat healthy food for energy, vitality, and to obtain the nutritional resources that supports optimal structure and function of the body. Food runs all the business of the body. Okay. And 8, flow. The domain of flow. So this is about practicing emotional acceptance and authenticity, another primary need of humans. We must claim the intrinsic wisdom of our emotions and feelings and resolve emotional repression, which is one of the most harmful and insidious causes of pain, suffering, and illness. I see this in my practice all the time. So those are the 8 domains of core resilience. We started with the mind and presence, and we kind of worked our way through the body and into our emotional energy and wisdom. And these are all interconnected, though we separate them for organizational purposes. Our work in any one of these domains will affect all the others. Our work in presence will most likely make us feel better, more energetic. And then eating and sleeping well will support our presence practices. I once had a client tell me that she felt her heart open and she felt the most amazing flow of love and compassion and empathy after we got through a critical period of vigorously treating a chronic infection. Her body, she was very, very sick and inflamed. And we got through a critical part of our treatment, and she just had this incredible resurgence of energy and especially heart energy. It's really cool. So we are absolutely, mind is body is spirit. Absolutely, it's all interconnected. So any one of these domains, when it's out of balance, can lead to pain, suffering, and illness. And together, the effects multiply. A combination of unmet needs in any of these domains can lead to devastating consequences in susceptible individuals. 99+% of the time, by tending to these core resilience domains, this will lead to complete resolution of the pain and suffering of illness. And tending to resilience factors alone will meet the vast majority of our needs as humans to create bodies with enough strength, energy, and adaptability to thrive in the face of life's challenges. So what about the other 1%? For the other 1%, we have to tend to the specific and unique complex roadblocks to healing that go beyond addressing core resilience factors. And while most of these forms of pain, suffering, and illness may have had their earliest genesis in loss of resilience, they've become so entrenched and multifactorial and complicated that they now require more elaborate, personalized, deep medicine jumpstart interventions to support and give traction to the healing process. I'd like to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So 2 clients came to see me with similar diagnoses. They both had diagnoses of autoimmune illness. They were both experiencing a lot of persistent pain and swelling of many of their joints, along with depressed mood, severe fatigue, and loss of function in their daily lives. Client number 1 gets on board with all the core resilience factors. She had a lot to do in each one of these domains, and she took it all on ferociously. She wanted to heal, and she had just become sick and tired of the merry-go-round of symptomatic treatments that she'd been given by her doctors that did not address the root causes of her suffering and didn't work. So she didn't realize how devastating the consequences of not optimizing the basic core resilience factors could be. Her sleep was poor. She woke up every morning exhausted and in pain after restless sleep. Her eating habits did not meet her basic needs. She experienced lots of work pressure that she hadn't been able to resolve, so her stress levels were really high. And she'd taken large quantities of pain medications for her joint pain that injured her gut. And this led to a cascading sequence of pro-inflammatory problems that contributed to her autoimmunity and exacerbated her pain and suffering. She also had some unresolved emotional trauma that stemmed from childhood, which persisted into some present-day relationships that so upset and distracted her, it brought her, out of herself. She wasn't able to tend to what she needed to do for herself. So through daily writing and working with a therapist, she was able to find some peace, and then she freed up a lot of energy, right, to love and show compassion for herself and do the things that she needed to do. Okay, so it took about 6 months, but she completely healed with vigorous, consistent self-care. Okay, and it was all support of resilience factors, not rocket science, though she had to address a lot of things. And it was hard. It was a lot of hard work. It took a lot of courage. But now she's pain-free and she's enjoying vibrant energy. Now, she looked complex at the outset, and she'd been in the hands of many doctors, and she was given a scary diagnosis for which she had been treated unsuccessfully with many drugs. But her biology responded gorgeously to just a carefully crafted strategy, meticulously executed by her, of core resilience practices to meet her needs. Now, notice how the diagnosis of autoimmune illness, which is conventionally conceptualized and treated as a disease, is actually a symptom of a constellation of underlying imbalances and unmet needs in this situation. Her body wasn't wrong. Then client number 2 also addressed all the core resilience factors that we identified as needing her attention, but she remained quite ill even after a few weeks of making dramatic changes in the core resilience domains, particularly with food, sleep, and managing stress. Her labs came back suggesting active Lyme disease, and her body made it very clear to us in how it responded to our early interventions that it could not manage things on its own. It could not readily shift from an equilibrium of being very sick to an equilibrium of wellness on its own, given present circumstances. The terrain wasn't ready. So we treated her with a course of antibiotics specific for Lyme, in addition to supporting her with all the core resilience factors. And it took several months, but she recovered as well. Now, I think it's important to realize that not everyone exposed to the Lyme disease organism, Borrelia burgdorferi, gets sick or needs antibiotics. We find elevated Lyme antibodies in asymptomatic people all the time, which indicates that they had an exposure at some point in the past. They mounted an entirely appropriate immune response, but they didn't get sick. They didn't develop a persistent illness with the disease because their immune system was able to manage things. And that's how the immune system is supposed to work. This is true for many human pathogens. There are studies that look at blood samples from random people who are not ill and looking for the presence of the DNA from a diverse array of microbes. And 40% of the time we find these microbes. And these are things like hepatitis B and C, HIV, herpes viruses, and influenza. These are microorganisms that are all part of the larger biome, of which we are at least some small part. And we're designed to when the terrain is healthy, to live in a harmonic equilibrium. So a key part of the equation of microbial illness is how resilient a person's immunity is. Immune resilience is part and parcel of the core resilience that we've been exploring. And I want to say just one more thing about that, because we're living in the era of COVID-19, and that we've learned in the COVID-19 pandemic that the key factor in what makes some folks and not others become very sick has to do with a very specific array of vulnerability factors, a constellation of chronic illnesses and dysfunctions that signal a loss of immune resilience that makes these folks more susceptible to severe illness. And all the vulnerability factors in the COVID-19 pandemic trace back to a loss of physiological resilience. And these factors are all largely preventable and reversible. So see, there's a lot at stake here when we talk about supporting ourselves with core resilience factors. So, what are the outcomes if you rock your core resilience? What can you expect? Prevention of most common illnesses, pain, and suffering. Reversal of most common illnesses, pain, and suffering. And achievement of a deep reservoir of well-being and vitality and robustness. All right. Woo! Let's stop. Let's stop right here and take a time out. And I want to ask you a question. So given what we've talked about here, are we to blame for our pain, suffering, and illness? When we talk about the terrain and the incredible amount of control we have over our terrain in directing it, making it work for us, do you think that I'm suggesting that we are to blame when we become ill? My answer, of course not. We are responsible for getting ourselves here. We're responsible for stepping up to the many challenges of our healing, but no one consciously brings this upon themselves. We're all doing our best. And when we become ill or suffer, we're being asked to take stock. That's all. We're being asked to accept our body's assignment to heal. And let's be clear. Our body's assignment is not to wait for the experts to come fix us or tell us what to do. Okay? We may ask for expert guidance, but we are in the driver's seat. To heal, we must be in the driver's seat. We must stand on our own 2 feet because this work is ours. And the work is better when it's ours. Okay? So with this in mind, let's forgive ourselves and step up to the responsibilities before us because we're that strong. So first, let's settle into a comfortable seat or stand tall, your choice. I like to stand and feel my feet against the floor. And then place your hands with your fingers outstretched, just firmly over your beautiful center of personal power, your solar plexus, your core of cores. Press firmly there. And breathe into your core, breathe into your center of strength. And feel your strength in this moment. And if you can't feel your strength, imagine your strength. Affirm your strength. Okay? Now, continue breathing. Let yourself soften. Let your body soften. Let your skin soften. Let your mind soften. Stay curious about this moment, what we're experiencing together, and allow your feelings. Don't make them wrong. Be present. Be your witness. And as you breathe and stay connected to your center of power, let these words wash over you. I do my best at all times. I forgive all the ways I've been uninformed or missed opportunities to support myself as my body has needed me to. I am resilient. I am filled to the brim with genetic, biological, and spiritual potential. I can step up to the changes and challenges of life with strength, energy, adaptability, and with a curiosity that leads me to the very best actions of each and every moment. I trust that I am always supported and guided. I trust the wisdom within me. Amen. Thank you. So once again, I'm so grateful to have you join me and to accompany me on this healing journey that we're taking together. I will see you next time when we're going to take a closer look at the other part of the healing roadmap, the complex roadblocks to healing. So for now, be well, be brave, do your best. I know you are. See you next time.